Being at the top is great, but one slip and it's a long way down. That's something Samsung had to find out for themselves in 2016. Hi, my name is Ben Holt, and today I'm here to talk to you about the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 PR crisis, in which the Galaxy Note 7s actually combusted, burst into flames. First, I'll talk about what happened during this crisis and what took place. Next, I'll be talking about what factors they controlled and what was uncontrolled, and how they tried to fix it. And finally, I'll talk about what the company learned from this experience as a whole. In 2016, Samsung was coming off a great year with their Galaxy Note 6s and Galaxy S6s, and were showing promising signs into the upcoming year with their Galaxy Note 7s and Galaxy S7s. In early September, after the phone's first release, reports started coming in of the Galaxy S Note 7's phones starting to combust. They were bursting into flames in people's houses and rooms. Immediately, a recall and halt of production was issued, and exchange programs were put into place to get the new phones. The problem was that many of the customers still wanted a Note 7 and didn't want to change to a different model. So Samsung gave them a different model because they weren't able to recreate the combustible battery like they had been seen in other homes. The problem was that these replacement phones also ended up combusting in other people's houses. So even though people had maybe not experienced the combusting first off, might have had a greater chance to experience it after they replaced the phone. 119 total reports when it was all said and done. Only 13 reports of burns. And the others were either combusting in the flames, getting hot in the pocket, smoking in the pocket, or just combusting in flames while charging. Only 0.1% of all the phones in population were able to combust. At first, Samsung dropped the ball. They gave up their one controlled factor, which was the actual phone itself. They continued to give it out after the first reports came of the combusting. Instead of just halting production and figuring out what was wrong, they continued and thought it was just one little hiccup and it won't happen again. Well, they were wrong. They needed to set up a station to fix it and to figure it out. The company had no idea what was causing this. After a month of the recalls, they built a building specifically made to figure out what was wrong with these phones. It could hold up to 20 to 30,000 phones at a time that could be charged and operated. It was specifically built for an instant like this because of this incident. Eventually, Samsung completely shut down the Galaxy Note 7 and discontinued it. After the 3 months of their investigation in their building, they figured out that manufacturing error that made the batteries too big, made it too close to other heating and cooling units in the phone, which caused the electrons in the battery to actually combust, to explode, causing it to smoke or burst into flames. Before they figured this out, if anybody had the phone, they sent out software updates that wouldn't allow the phone to actually be charged up to 60% until they figured out what was causing it. And once they did, they were able to send out software updates that would actually end the phone, so that way it would never happen. And anybody who had the phone still and refused to exchange it wouldn't be able to hurt themselves or anybody else. After completely shutting down the Note 7 and discontinuing it, they moved on. They continued to move on to the next phone for the customers. They knew that people still wanted to use their things because they didn't like Apple or any other products. They wanted to use a Samsung phone. In their exchange programs, they said you could either get a full refund for your phone, and the accessories with a $25 gift certificate to Samsung, or you could exchange your Note 7 for another phone plus the refund of the price differences, plus the refund of the accessories with a $100 gift card if you stick with the Samsung phone. These were things to help try to keep customers back with Samsung, which worked, but they also took a lot of heat for taking so long into halting productions and everything for the Galaxy Note 7s. And after January of 2017, after finding out what the problem was, they issued an 8-point inspection process plan, which involved that plant that they had built to make sure that something like this would never happen again. The Samsung company learned that pushing out new technology at a fast rate didn't make them better, but it made them more dangerous. They may be able to get their product out there, but they needed to be able to keep people safe, their biggest worry. They got blinded by the money, and they learned. They sent out numerous apologies and refunded numerous people for any injuries or anything that the phone might have damaged. Another thing they learned was not to keep the information to themselves. If one phone goes wrong, there's a possibility that it could happen to any phone, and they needed to immediately halt production and figure out what was wrong, instead of waiting the couple weeks that they did. Overall, Samsung continues to be a top technology company, understanding that being involved with technology is a safe and prominent thing that needs to continue to be done to help moving people forward today. And they have opened their eyes to beginning new tests and emergency manufacturing to make sure that nothing like this would ever happen again. Even though the problems were very small and only in a very small percentage of the phones, they've learned that to never ever take the chance of just letting one little mishap mess up everything ever again. Thank you.